Here we go, the 33rd country, Kazakhstan. So after I came back from Mongolia back to China, I made my way to the China and Kazakhstan border, Horgoz. So from Horgoz, I passed the border into Kazakhstan. But when I was passing the border, I met a security check Chinese lady in the border. She helped me to find a bus to take me for free, to offer me a hitchhiking opportunity. And she was very kind. We still keep in touch. She's so helpful. But after I crossed the Kazakhstan's border, and I changed to another bus because I met another driver who is originally from China, but they run the international routes between China and Kazakhstan, and their bus is heading to Almaty on that day. So so I just swap another bus, On total, I've got two hitchhiking opportunity, but I choose the second option. And then I still remembered that night when we arrived at Almaty, it's just so late, and then we slept on the bus for overnight. And then the next day, I just said goodbye to the drivers, and then he was with his mom, his aunt, for running the bus business. And they were kind of a little bit worried about me because they told me, wow, you won't be okay to travel solo in Kazakhstan. But, after I heard this, I feel a little bit scared, but still I needed to continue my journey. So I borrowed some Wi-Fi at a bank from a very nice lady. So that offered me to find a host on couchsurfing in Astana. And after that, I took the overnight train from Almaty to Astana. And before I left China, I was on an overnight train. I was slept on the floor on the train, so I catch a little bit cold. So when I arrived at Astana, I was kind of weak. And my first house in Astana was a teacher, and then he hosted me. In the same time, he was hosting a couple from Portugal. Yeah, he's very kind. He offered me the couch and offered his room for the Portuguese couple, and himself slept at his friend's place. And we did some cooking, and my host told me, because he used to live in China, he was the one to tell me that the Chinese people eat cats. I was shocked. And then until he showed some photos with me from the market he took in China. But not every Chinese eat cats. Yeah, like me, I don't eat cats. Yeah, so don't take it for prejudice, And everyone is different, but I was really shocked. And after that, spent some days with my host. I moved to another house. Another host was really kind because himself was away from Astana, but he still found his flatmates to host me. So I was still very sick. And his flatmate took me out to meet up with their friends. We had a home party, and we went to a shisha place. And after we returned home, and his flatmate told me, "Oh, if you want your coat to be recovered soon, you should drink." So I just followed his suggestion, and then I drank some liquor, and that night I coughed too much. I will never trust that kind of talks again. Yeah, it was just so funny. And then during the previous party, I met a local girl. Her name is Ice. She's very beautiful and very kind. She insists to invite me to come to her place to treat me, for homemade food. Like she offered me a dumpling, and after that I ate. And then she asked me, have you ever tried horse? I said no. And then she told me, now it's your first time. Yeah, she was very lovely, and she told me, she used to have some moments that she wanted to commit a suicide. At that time, I have no idea why she has that kind of thoughts, because she's pretty, she play instruments, she has boyfriend, and everything is very nice. But as I grew older, I think everyone sometimes they will have their downside, and then people get depressed no matter what kind of yourself is. It happened, but I think just to keep your faith in your heart that everything is going to be okay. And I'm glad she's still fine, because we still keep in touch. And she was a student at that time, and she took me with her and her friends to the national cuisines place. So I was being treated by the all local food, national cuisine. It's very delicious and a very good value for money. And that restaurant I highly recommend. And then from Astana, I bought the train ticket via Russia into Kyiv in Ukraine. And the train was really funny, because it's 4 days, 3 nights. So firstly, it takes me from Kazakhstan to Russia, and then Russia back to Kazakhstan, and then Kazakhstan to Russia again, and then Russia to Kyiv finally. So after I boarded on the train, I was the only traveler on board. I was the only one who doesn't speak Russian. And the immigration officer just came on board to check my passport, to doing the procedure for disembark. And I was being told that I stayed more than I allowed to. I was shocked, no, because before I came to Kazakhstan, I checked the visa policy that for Hong Kong passport holder you get 2 weeks visa free. So I assumed that's a truth. So when they told me, I stayed more, because I was in Kazakhstan only 10 days, and then I supposed to stay. I was allowed for 14 days, right? 2 weeks. So I thought I'm totally fine. But after that, they asked me, when I first entered, did the border officer give me a piece of paper, like an immigration card? So I just finally take out from my passport. And then they showed me, yes, miss, you stayed more than we gave to you. So I was so shocked, because in the first time when I see the immigration card, I thought it's all Russian. So I just put inside with my passport, but on the back side is English, and they only gave me 5 days. I didn't know that. And after that, the immigration officer said, okay, I stayed more, so I have to pay the fine. But I was just almost like a hitchhiking, and the hitchhiker traveling really on a tiny budget. I can't pay the fine, $100. So I said no. I didn't do that in purpose. I've been traveled for more than 30 countries. I never broke any stay in duration rules in every country. So, I didn't do that for purpose, without knowing. And so I tried to explain, and I get so emotional. I was crying, and then because they don't speak English, so they phoned another immigration officer to talk to me on the phone. So we were talking, and they said, no, maybe you should get your family to help you, or maybe you should pay when you arrive in Kyiv. And I was still trying to explain no. And finally, they told me, okay, this time it's fine, you don't need to pay. But I was being told, perhaps I can't come back to Kazakhstan again. At that moment, I feel so sad, because I met so many nice friends there. And but that's it, to leave it.